Hi, I'm Paul from the Studio Rats. This is the second video for the Xpatch-32. Now in this video what I'm going to be doing is to wire up all of my studio gear and all of my guitar gear to go through the Xpatch-32. So I hope you guys get something out of it. Okay, let's have a quick look at how we're going to wire this up. So basically what I've done is to take out all of my studio stuff and rewire everything and then plug it into the back of the Xpatch-32. So the way that we do that is to use these connectors here, which are called DB25 or D sub cables. Now those D sub cables come out onto looms, and at the end of those looms are either XLRs like this, which are female XLRs, or there might be male XLRs, or there might be jacks. Right, then what we want to do is to connect the D subs to the back of the X32 here, and as you'll see here we've got two rows up and down of the connections in, which are inputs and outputs. So we've got 32 ins and outs in total. So the first things I'm going to be connecting is all of my studio stuff. So I'm going to be connecting my preamps and my compressors, and then later on I'm going to be moving on to wiring up my guitar pedals. So let's go around the back of my rack here, and as you'll see it's made everything so much neater as everything's now coming in on these looms. So we've got the outputs of the Xpatch-32 plugged into the inputs of my interface here, and if you come down to the back of my rack, this is my lunchbox, and as you can see that's all connected via looms which are going into the D subs, which are now connected into the Xpatch-32. So now my next job is going to be connecting all of these cables here to the back of the Xpatch and then start to wire them up to my guitar pedals. Okay, now everything's connected, let's have a look. So there's the Xpatch and everything's plugged in to the back of that. So at the bottom here I've got my preamps and a compressor, and also up here another compressor which is the Wes Audio B76. Okay, so what I've done is to take all of my pedals off of my pedal wall and I've attached them to these shelves here. Now all of these pedals are linked as inserts into the back of the Xpatch-32. So if I wanted to, I could actually patch some of these pedals into, say, like my microphone chain or even my mixing chain as I'm mixing down. So now this makes it so much easier, as what I'm going to be doing now is to plug my guitar into input 31, and I'm also going to be plugging my amplifiers into outputs 29 and 30. Now if I wanted to, I could plug my amplifiers into the back of the Xpatch-32 via D sub cables, so I could then just switch in and out depending on what amplifier I wanted what pedal to go to. But for the moment what I'm going to do is just to come out of this output, and the guitar's going to be plugged into this input. Now also what I've done is to plug in the outputs of the Universal Audio aux box into the Xpatch-32. So what I can choose is where I want in my signal chain for the aux box to go, and then to also be sent to whatever interface I want. So they're either going to be sent to my Universal Audio Apollos, or I can send them over here to these Quantum interfaces as well. So also I've got this 2 Notes Torpedo Studio plugged into the Xpatch-32 as well, and just as I can with the aux box, I can then choose at what point of my recording chain and what interface I want the 2 Notes Torpedo to go into. Now this is very different to systems, say like the Gig Rig system or the Boss system, which mainly is for guitar pedals. So not only does this do guitar pedals, but it also does pro audio interfaces as well and studio gear. But another use that we can use this for is to use it as a reamp box. So for instance, I can plug my guitar straight into the front of the Xpatch-32 and go clean straight into my interface. I can then choose later, after I've recorded, my guitar sound by coming out of the Xpatch-32 and then going into one of my various different amplifiers, and then choosing the sound at a later date as opposed to committing to that sound when I'm recording. Or also what I could do is to record that clean signal as well as recording one of my guitar amplifiers. So then I can choose at a later date by going in here and then out of the Xpatch-32. So I could then blend a different guitar sound during the mixdown stage using one of my various amplifiers here. So you can really think of the Xpatch-32 as the hub of your studio. Join me in the next video where I'm going to be showing the Xpatch-32 in a real life situation. So I'm really going to be demonstrating how it can speed up your workflow. So I'm Paul from the Studio Rats. I hope you guys got something out of that, and I'll see you next time.